The W, the O, the R, the K. The W, the O, the R, the K. Look yourself in the face. Look yourself in the mirror. Ask yourself, are you giving 120% every day? Every play? Give me 120 or don't give me nothing at all. The guy you competing against, you haven't outworked him. You've not outworked the person next to you. You've not out-hustled them. You've not out-rhymed them. You've not outdone them. You're not locked in. Bring all your passion. Bring heart. Every single game, every single play. Put forth 120% or don't ask nobody to do nothing good. The W, the O, the R, the K. The W, the O.
What's up? What's up? What's up? TGIF, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. Yo, we're up. We're at it. We're doing our thing on this Friday morning. Yo, what a fucking mess we got going on over here, man. And, yo, we're going to go ahead. We're going to get into it, and we're going to talk about this, man. But what a mess. This is an absolute mess that the United States has got themselves in. It's tanking the markets. It's doing its thing. There's a lot of news that we're going to go over. Got the jobs report coming out today. Got Elon and Trump going at it like two spoiled, rotten brats. Got Israel that decided that it was a good idea to take advantage of the situation and go drop some bombs on Beirut. Got we got a freaking mess, man. This is all a mess. There's some good stuff that's going on too. Circle dropped its IPO. We'll go ahead and we'll have a look at that. It went live. Its IPO is over. It went live on the trading platforms yesterday. It's crazy. You got China that's trying to ban cryptocurrency trading over there. What you got conversations that's happening between the United States and China in regards to these tariffs. What a mess. We've got an absolute mess going on over here. And we're going to get into it, but this mess affects all of our money. And I think this is where the frustration comes in, right? Because we've got to be able to, conduct ourselves like some people that have some pure common sense, right? And none of this is common sense. None of this is justifiable. None of this is okay. And that's the problem that I have. And the thing about it is both men are right. You know what I'm saying? Both men are right. When you look at this bill that they're arguing over, the CBDC, the budget office scored it that it was gonna raise the deficit, right? And that's because they didn't include the job growth, the growth of the economy that Trump has included in his numbers, which. Okay, so if the economy grows at 2.5%, then guess what? You're going to be in a deficit. If the economy grows at 3 to 3% or higher, then guess what? You're going to be in a surplus. So both people are right, depending on what scoring system you use. But here's the thing: you put out a 1,100-page bill, you vote on it in 2 days. You vote on it in 2 days. And then you say to yourself, okay, we all read this. Well, nobody read that bill. Nobody knows what's in that bill. You can't read 1,100 pages in 2 days and then vote on it. It's not feasible. It's not understandable. So, it's all ridiculous. It's all a ridiculous thing. And here's the thing: is like we're supposed to have change, and we're supposed to have all of this stuff that was going on that was supposed to happen. We're supposed to have change. We're supposed to be able to, get some transparency. There's no transparency. It's much of the same old stuff. We're voting on bills that nobody reads. We're voting on bills that are 1,100 pages that make absolutely no sense. Does it cut the deficit? Does it not cut the deficit? Who knows? There's Junior. Good morning, Junior. Good morning, my brother. Good morning, Selma. I didn't even say good morning, everybody. Good morning, Selma. Good morning, Junior. Good morning, Ken. Good morning, Heat. What's going on, my brothers? But so we got all of this stuff going on around us right now, and it's all affecting the markets. It's all tanking the market. So the problem here is that every time we get a positive run up, we get some idiots doing some idiot things and they tank the market. And this is what happens every single time. Michael, good morning, my brother. Good morning. This is what happens every single time. And at some point you just get straight up sick of the nonsense. And the thing about it is, Elon's wrong because you can't come out and say that somebody's in the Epstein files and not have any proof of that, right? So you got to have some proof of that. You basically called Trump a pedophile, right? So you got to have some proof of that. And what a mess, man. It's all a mess, and you got this whole tariff mess going on that you can't straighten out. And this is all bad. It's all bad. None of this is good for the markets. And we tried to sugarcoat it for a while here. We tried to talk about it for a little while here in a positive light, but there's nothing that is that's going on right now that's positive. BlackRock's about to stack up. Stack up on ETH. Yeah, BlackRock's about to stack up on ETH. This whole thing tanked the markets. And who's going to come in and buy all these markets? Well, the big institutional investors are going to come in and buy up all these markets, right? This whole thing, the whole shot, right? Like you can't tell me that big institutional investors didn't take advantage of last night. And you can tell that they took advantage of last night because when we get into the price action, you'll see that it started to come up a little bit this morning, which is absolutely a good thing for the crypto market. But you best believe that institutional investors are the ones that push this market up, and they took advantage of this. Elon has many pics of himself. Yeah, well, Elon's got pics of him of Elon himself hanging out with the girl that was in Epstein, and I'm pretty sure there's pics of Trump hanging out with Epstein himself. That doesn't mean that he was a pedophile. That doesn't mean that he did all of this stuff, man. But all of this stuff is starting to affect people's pockets, and it's starting to get ridiculous, man. And I tend to agree a little bit. This bill, they call it the big beautiful bill. Well, if it's so big and it's so beautiful, why does nobody understand it? And why can't you just come out and tell us how you're going to create more than 3% GDP growth in the economy? And what is your plan? And what are you going to do? And how are you going to lay this out? And how is this going to happen? And what's the steps that you're going to take in order to make this happen? We haven't got that yet. It's all hosh posh all over the place. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. You got to piece all this stuff together to try to figure out exactly what the hell is going on and what's in the bill and what's going on and who's getting tariffed and how much they're getting tariffed. And you're bringing companies back, but we all know it takes years to build plants. So none of that's really going to happen, in the next 2 to 3 years. So how do you plan on doing all this? And, extend the tax cuts, that were here before, but yet the tax cuts that were before didn't really cut into the deficit. So how are they going to cut into the deficit this time? All of these questions going around about this big, beautiful bill that nobody has answers to. And then when somebody calls you out on it, you end up with two spoiled, rotten children going at each other. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It affects our pockets. It affects our money. It affects investors. Tesla lost 14% of their stock price yesterday. How does that benefit the average people that are invested in Tesla? How does that benefit them? It doesn't benefit them. DJT, their stock took an absolute crap dive yesterday over this, right? And then you have, the crypto market that just absolutely just tanked yesterday over this. I mean, Bitcoin got down to 101. It was down to 101. We were flirting with $100,000 Bitcoin after we're coming off of all-time highs. 2 days, two straight days of all-time highs, because of this nonsense, right? That's happening. And at some point, you just got to get sick of it, and you got to say to these guys, first of all, your president can't be out here acting like this. It's that's childish, right? Um, and how does the China president look at what's going on? How does the other people around the world look at what's going on? And these are the people that you have to negotiate with, right? So, are you a pedophile? Are you not a pedophile? Uh, are you working towards a resolution, or you're not working towards a resolution? All the leaders around the world are looking at this and they're going, what the heck? Do we even want to do business over there in the United States, right? Do we even want to deal with what's going on over there? You know, and then, something that, we kind of flavor around a little bit. You're messing with China, you're messing with Canada. Why are you tariffing Canada? Why are you going to tariff Canada? Seriously. I mean, I don't call a lot stupid, but come on, man. Canada? You messing with Canada? Like, you're going to tariff Canada? Like, you can't work out a deal with Canada? You can't work out a deal with one of your loyal partners? You can't get that deal done? Like, you can't sure that up to take care of the Canadian people, take care of the American people at the same time? Like, you can't do that. If you can't make that deal, what deal can you make? That's an easy deal. That's a home run. That's a gimme right there. People forget Trump was a New York real estate. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Trump was a New York real estate agent. So, there's no doubt in my mind that you have pictures of him with Epstein. Epstein was in New York. Trump was a real estate investor in New York. All of these people intermingled with each other, right? So, but don't come out and make it look like it was a pedophile thing, without having the proof, right? Let's have the proof, because ultimately, you're going after somebody's character, right? Um, and these two can go at it all they want. And, at the end of the day, it only hurts us. It only hurts us. They're only hurting the average investor. Yeah, Trump was right about Elon's Tesla brand. I mean, here's the thing: ain't nobody running out to buy electric cars, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, they're throwing these softballs back and forth, and both of them are right. Nobody's going out to buy these electric cars. No, nobody wants these. We want the electric cars that China got, that are cheap and they go, hundreds of miles, and they look like luxury and all that. That's what we want. We don't want them Teslas, right? So we want what China has. We want them electric cars. We want that stuff over there. But Trump was right. Elon was right. Elon was right. Trump was right about Tesla. Trump was right about a lot of things when it comes to and taking the EV mandates out of the bill, stuff like that. Elon was right when he was saying that the bill itself doesn't accomplish what the promise was for it to accomplish, which was cut the deficit. I'm a firm believer in that they didn't cut the deficit enough in this bill. And if it passes, that this bill is probably going to add to the deficit, and it's not going to do people like us any favors. This bill's not going to do us any favors. It's not going to cut the deficit. It doesn't do that. Tariffs aren't going to cut the deficit. They're not going to do that, because when you negotiate the tariffs down, then what do you really have, right? What do you really have there? They're not going to cut into the deficit. None of this is going to cut it. They didn't do the hard work. They didn't go into what is really truly driving the deficits up, and they didn't cut it. They don't want to touch any of that. They don't want to touch that. And it is. it's a big, beautiful shit. You can't, there shouldn't be a bill that's 1,100 pages. I deal with, there shouldn't be a budget that's 1,100 pages and you vote on it in 2 days. That's just unrealistic. So Elon was right about that. Like you can't do that and then say that you read it. You didn't read it. You didn't read it. You got no idea what the hell's in there, right? Most of these people, me personally, I'm a firm believer in that you should vote on every department individually. And it is filled with pork. This whole bill is filled with pork, but that's how every single bill that we ever pass here in the United States is. It's all filled with pork. And we were promised something different, and that's not what we're getting. It needs to be. Well, some people, almost some people like Elon, some people don't. I don't have one way or another about Elon. I like to deal with the facts, right? Like if you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And there's points that he's making that's right. There's points that Trump's making that's right. And these two are going to go at it, and they're going to take the market, and they're going to kill our investments. And I mean, I don't know. And then Elon's talking about pulling back his Dragon spaceship so that they can't get up to the International Space Station because Trump says, well, we're going to cut his subsidies. Well, go ahead. I mean, now here you are, you're going back and forth on whether or not you can even get up to the space station. I mean, come on, man. We just got to do better than this. We got to do better than this, man. And it is what it is, man. Canadians are frustrated. I bet you guys are. There's no reason for the United States to be hitting Canada the way they are. There's absolutely no reason. Absolutely. And we're just gonna get raw today because it's Friday. There's absolutely no reason for the United States to be hitting Canada the way they are, or Mexico, even for that, for that conversation. But hit Mexico a little bit harder than you hit Canada, but there's no way. There's just no reason for it. It's absolutely absurd. Hit the like button. Elmo says, hit the like button. It's absurd what they're doing in Canada. It's and like I said, we sugarcoat it here, and we haven't really said too much about it because we're waiting to see how it played out. But given the fact that all of this is going on, let's just go ahead and lay it out on the line. What the United States is doing to Canada is unthinkable. Deals will be made. Deals will be made eventually. Deals will be made eventually, and but how much pain do you go through in order to make the deals, right? And did you have to go through that much pain in order to make the deal? I don't think you did. I don't think you had to go through this much pain to make the deals that you're making. Now, if you want to lean on China, you go ahead and lean on China, right? Go ahead and lean on them, right? But make no doubt, I'll just gonna put it out there. Make no doubt, what's going on right now at this given moment when it comes to the budget bill, when it comes to being open in government and being able to come in and slash government and being able to come in and do all of these things that make sense and being able to cut the deficit here in the United States. And this is everything that Trump ran on. It's not getting done. It's not getting done. Where's the transparency? Where's the transparency? You have two of the biggest drivers of the debt is Medicare, Medicaid. What did you do? What did you do in this big beautiful bill to reform them to reform them to programs so that you're not driving up the national debt every single year? You didn't do anything. You didn't do anything. There's nothing. There's nothing in this bill to take care of that situation. And you can't tax your way out of that. You just can't. You can't. And the tax cuts that Trump put into place that they want to make permanent didn't drive down the deficit when he was in office before. They added to the deficit. They didn't decrease the deficit. So what's changing now? Right? What's changing now? Why all of a sudden now are they going to why all of a sudden now in this big beautiful bill does all of this now decrease the budget, decrease the national debt? It didn't do it before. And you get no answers. You get zero answers to them questions. That's the problem. That's the problem that we're having right now. But Trump's comments, I'll put this up here, but Trump's comments are all over the place. They're all over the place. You don't know what's coming out from day to day. They're all over the place. And if this bill is so big and so beautiful, first of all, I'll agree with Elon on this. You can't have a big budget and have it be beautiful at the same time. But if this is such of a big and beautiful budget, then why not just come out with a press conference and say, look, in order for us to drive down the deficit, we have to get to a 3% GDP growth over this year. And here's how we're going to get to a 3% GDP growth, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and just lay it all out, right? And then say, if we don't get to a 3% GDP growth, then this budget's going to put us in a deficit. It's that simple. It's math. You can't spin that any other way. If you do the numbers, if you actually look at the numbers, that's what it is. Trump's numbers say they're going to get to above a 3% GDP growth, which is going to drive down the deficit. The budget numbers from the budget department doesn't take in the growth perspective. They just take in the numbers, and they say that we're going to go to a deficit because growth is only going to be at 2.5% on average, right? So who's right? You don't know, but you're voting on a bill that's 1,100 pages, and you have no idea what the plan is. There's no plan. There's no plan. And this is the frustrating piece with all of this right now. Because here's the thing: if we go into a deficit, you know that these markets are crashing. I do think that the travel bans it's bad. It's bad for business. It's all bad for business. Tariffs, bad for business. The way that they're being rolled out is bad for business. There was a much better way to do this. And this is the problem that I have right now with what's going on. And we're just going to lay it out Friday, right? This is Friday. We're just going to lay it out. What's up, Scottish? Good morning, my brother. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I don't have a problem with fair trade and making sure that everybody is trading equally, right? The problem I have is with the rollout. The way you treat people, the rollout, how things are getting done. We're all over the place. Doesn't seem to be any rhyme or any reason to what's going on, right? That's the problem I have with what's going on with the tariffs. The problem I have with the travel bans too. What's the rhyme? What's the reason? Why are you putting these travel bans in place on these particular countries? Right? Why? Why today is it necessary for us to have a travel ban, but yesterday it wasn't necessary for us to have a travel ban? What changed? What changed? You know? You know, so and that's what you don't get from these guys. You know, that's what you don't get from this administration. You know, dump, yeah, dump. We took a dump. We took a crapper last night. That's what we did. The market took an absolute crap last night because Elon and Trump couldn't act like adults. Yeah, Bitcoin got to 101. It got to 101 after coming off of all-time highs. It got down to 101. Yeah, I would call that a dump. What do you call it? A pullback? I call it a dump. The whole market dumped last night. XRP almost came down to $2 even, coming off of 220. Yeah, it's rebounding today, but don't tell me that yesterday it wasn't a dump. That was a dump. I got a bad feeling, Scottish, too, about this big bill. I got a bad feeling about this big bill. A bad feeling. I don't think it's going to go well. I think they'll pass it. It'll get through. I don't think it's going to go well, though. And then you got Israel over there bombing people, committing more genocide, and throwing bunkers on 8-story buildings and taking out women and children and the elderly, and nobody even pays any attention to that. That doesn't matter anymore, right? It doesn't matter anymore. Well, it matters when you get to these markets and it has an effect on your market. So they take Elon and Trump start fighting yesterday, and Israel takes that opportunity, that particular opportunity, when nobody's watching, to drop bombs on people. Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The pain is necessary. The pain, I do believe that some pain is necessary, right? I believe that there is going to be some pain that's necessary in order to turn this thing around, and in order to start cutting into these deficits, right? But you can't say that you're going to cut into the deficit and then put out a 1,100-page budget bill, that doesn't cut into the deficit unless you get to a 3% GDP growth. That doesn't make any sense to me. And if you're going to cut the deficit, then you have to go in and start making changes to what's actually driving the deficit up. You can't just make changes around the fringes and be like, oh yeah, we're going to go around the fringes of this problem. Like, we're going to dance around the circle of this problem right here. And then we're going to hope that it cuts enough of the deficit where it makes us look good. No, if you're going to cut the deficit, then cut what's driving the deficit up. Don't just dance around it. Don't dance, because they know. Here's the thing: every single politician knows that if they really get to the true core of what's driving the deficit up, and they start to make fundamental changes on that, they'll never be reelected. And Trump's figured that out. Him and his team have figured that out. That if they really get to the core, right, that they won't get reelected. That's the problem. Elon started this. No, Elon actually, I'm not a huge, I like I said earlier, I don't go one way or the other with Elon. But Elon started out being very professional about the situation. He said that the bill doesn't cut the deficit. He didn't personally attack anybody, right? He was attacking the bill. He wasn't attacking the person, right? And then obviously emotions and egos got involved, and it became personal attacks. But it started out as an attack on the bill, which is perfectly legitimate. You're allowed to talk about a bill when it doesn't make sense, or in your opinion, if it doesn't make sense. You're allowed to talk about that, and you should be allowed to talk about that. That's what people go to war and fight for. People like my man Selmo, right? Freedom of speech, right? You should be able to say that, right? But then you had these two bullheaded knuckleheads that couldn't keep it professional and decided that it was going to get personal. And once it gets personal, you lose all context of what you were even trying to say. People start to pick sides. They start to take sides. They start to say, well, this person did, this person did this, and I'm on their side. This person did that. I'm on their side. No, if you just look at the facts of the argument that both of these guys are trying to make, they're both right. They're both right. And it's okay. You don't have any business in the government. Somebody's got to get in there. Somebody's got to get in there, and they got to start making cuts to the United States to this deficit. And there will be pain, and there's going to be hard feelings, and there's going to be pain, and it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt some people, but you can't continue driving you can't continue driving up the deficit $3-4 trillion a year either. Like you can't, and you can't tariff your way out of it. You can't tax your way out of it. You can't tax millionaires and billionaires more. You can't tax your way out of this. You can't say to other countries, you're going to pay for our debt. You're going to pay for our debt through tariffs. There's not enough money there. You're not going to bring in enough money to do that. Yes, that can be part of the plan, but it can't be the plan. Let's face it. We'll go back to Canada. Canada is not the reason we're in debt. So you're tariffing people that aren't even the reason that you're in debt. It makes zero sense. Yes, manufacturing jobs left. Yes, people took the manufacturing jobs in out of the United States. It's not their fault that the United States gave it to them. They gave them the jobs. They gave them the manufacturing. They gave it to them on a silver platter. And that's not Canada's fault. That's not China's fault. That's our fault as the United States. So, you got to come to that realization. But this argument between these two it needs to stop. Somebody needs to look at both of these guys and tell them, cut it out. The whole Liberation Day wasn't very liberating. It wasn't very liberating. VO, good morning. It didn't liberate. Who did liberate? Who's right? Who's right? Elon or Trump? They're both right. They're both right. And that's the problem. That's why you can have a legitimate conversation on both sides of the token. You can have a legitimate conversation, but when it got personal, it got way too it got to be way too much. And then you have people threatening people. You have Elon threatening not to send his spaceships up to the space station, and then you got Trump threatening first Trump threatened to take his subsidies away, and then he threatened to not send his spaceships up there to do his thing, right? So that's personal. That's personal attacks on each other, right? And who suffers from that? Who suffers? The Tesla holders suffered from that. They lost 14% of their investment yesterday. They lost 14% of their investment yesterday because these two idiots decided that they wanted to have an argument on their platforms, right? And I'm gonna call it what it is. They're both idiots. They're both of them for doing this. This is idiotic. This is stupid. And you would expect more. You would expect more out of the president, and you would expect more out of the richest man in the world. You would expect more out of these two. And you can call it what you want, but that's what it is. And people take sides. I'm not taking a side. I'm going straight down the middle. They're both right. Elon makes great points. Trump makes great points. And this big, beautiful bill needs to be questioned. 1,100 pages on a bill needs to be questioned. 1,100 pages and you vote on it in 2 days. That should be a question. People should be very, very concerned about that. And it does raise the deficit if you don't raise GDP above 3%. I think that Elon would have did a better job with Doge if there was a better, I think that Elon's Doge team highlighted all of this waste and how we were getting robbed and how the taxpayers here were getting absolutely screwed out of their money for decades, right? I think but they didn't hit the big ones that are driving the deficit up. They didn't hit the Defense Department. They didn't hit the Medicaid. They didn't hit the Medicare department. They didn't hit all of that. They took the low hanging fruit, and obviously USAID was low hanging fruit. That was a slush fund for a bunch of people. But we've been getting robbed here in the United States. The taxpayers have absolutely been getting robbed, and there's been no, even since Doge, right? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Doge and everything that they found, right? All of these billions of dollars being wasted, right? There's been no action to correct that from a House and Senate perspective. There's been zero legislation to correct that. Think about that for a minute. And people got mad at Elon and they said, oh, you're doing this and you're doing that, and you're in here and you're finding this and you're finding that. You get mad at the person who's finding it, but you don't get mad at the person who's robbing you. I mean, how much common sense does that make? How much common sense does that make? Yeah, they can. They both can be right. They both can be right. Because here's the thing. Here's how they're both right. Elon is questioning the bill. He's perfectly legitimate in questioning the bill. Right? And what he's saying makes sense. It doesn't cut the deficit. Directly cut the deficit. Trump's right in saying Elon's pissed because we took the EV credits out and nobody wants to buy Teslas, and we're gonna fire your the NASA guy, right? The head of NASA, who Elon's good friends with. So Trump's right on that aspect. Elon's right on the budget aspect. It doesn't make sense. So yeah, they're both right, and they both should. You can have this conversation and come to a legitimate agreement on it, rather than going at each other like two 5-year-olds. And the fact that we allow this to happen here in the United States, we allow this to happen, is a shame on us. It's more of a reflection of us as Americans that we allow this nonsense to happen. And we allow, people are losing money. We all knew that this was going to end badly. Elon couldn't wait to jump on X, Ken. He couldn't. I mean, this war was going to happen. When Elon and everybody came, when they were all together and buddying up, a lot of people knew that this was going to end badly. It is, Junior. This is a shit show. And there can be two people right that are in an argument. It just depends on what they're arguing. Yeah, you're right, Scottish. Once he decided to start taxing electric cars and take away the incentives and all that, Elon had to step away. And you're right. And he should have been pissed off about that, right? He should have been pissed off about that, right? Fuck pie, go KYC. And Elon, I mean, he couldn't. What's he gonna go? What's he gonna say to his stakeholders at that point? If he was part of that. Yeah, significant cuts to the to really fix the deficit is political suicide. It is, and that's why you need a bunch of people in office who aren't worried about getting reelected. Really, in order to fix the problem, you really need a bunch of people in office that just that are very financially sound and are not worried about getting reelected, and they can go in there and they can do a job and they can do what makes sense and and uh, and fix the budget. We can't continue with this budget deficit. At some point, you're gonna have to pay this bill. Uh, yo, Elon got billions from the taxpayers, but here's the problem: the government voted to have them tax incentives in place. How is that Elon's problem? How is that Elon's problem that he took advantage of a government that was just giving out money? He's not supposed to take it. He just not supposed to take it. Was he supposed to give it back? People give back their tax returns? No, the government said, "Here you go. Here you go. Take this money." What you supposed to turn it down? I mean, people say that all the time. Like Elon gets billions of dollars in tax incentives. Yeah, you're right, he does. But they give it to him. So is he just supposed to give it back? Fairground, good morning. How are you? Good early afternoon. Good morning to you, brother. I mean, come on, man. That's just like saying a millionaire or a billionaire doesn't pay their taxes because there's so many tax loopholes in the United States, in the United States tax code, that they don't have to. Is that their problem? That's not their problem. That's the United States governmental problem. And that's what everybody wants to put blame on the people that are benefiting off of the laws that are put into place by the people that are elected to sit in them seats. That's the problem. Don't push blame on the people that are taking advantage of the system when the system allows you to take advantage of it. It's people push blame in the wrong place. The United States can always pay their bills, but it's going to print more money to pay them, right? And what does that do? That increases inflation, it devalues the dollar, it drives your national debt up, it does all of these things. So yeah, the United States will never go into default because they can just print their way out of it, right? But at the end of the day, as they're printing their way out of it, who is suffering? The American people are suffering because the more money they print, the less your dollars are worth, right? So you'll never get out of this nasty downward trend until you can corral that budget. We can blame it on the Dems. You can blame it on the Republicans. We haven't had a balanced budget since Clinton. Because here's the thing: Clinton gave Bush a balanced budget. Bush tore the budget up. He spent all the money, tore it up, right? Obama came in and did worse, right? Trump came in and added to the budget, right? And Biden just came in and blew the whole freaking thing up. The freaking nuclear bomb went off in there, right? So we can blame everybody for blowing the budget up. The Republicans, Democrats, they all blew the budget up. This isn't a one-sided issue. It's a both-sided. This deficit was created by both sides, Republicans and Democrats. It was created by both sides, all presidents, all houses, all senates. It was created by all of them, and it was just a matter of who was benefiting at the time that for who was in office, right? But I want you to sit back and think about that. You haven't had a balanced budget since Clinton. Clinton was the last president to give you a balanced budget. Every president after that added to the deficit. So they're all guilty. They're all guilty. Every single one of them, including right now with this big, beautiful bill. So everybody's guilty. Everybody. This isn't a Republican or Democrat issue. This is because neither one of them have a legitimate argument. Because they all spent the money. They all robbed us. They both Republicans and Democrats. They both robbed us. They put it any way you want to. They robbed us. So I don't know. I'm just on here on a rant today. And I don't know. I guess we can skip down to the bottom here. We can get into some crypto, but I'm just on a rant today. You know, I don't know. I've had it. I'm sick of it, man. It's ridiculous. And the genocide that's going on over there in Israel is absolutely from Israel is absolutely absurd. I can't believe that we're allowing that to happen. I can't believe it. I cannot believe that we're allowing that to happen. I cannot believe it. You like the rant, Scottish? It's Friday, man, so we got to speak truth to facts, right? Like, there's no fanboys. There's no fanboys here. Like it is what it is. And if you're messed up, you're messed up. And if you're right, you're right. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. And what's going on right now is just absolutely wrong. It's wrong on all sides. All the crypto guys. All the crypto guys are on a rant. We all should be on a rant because we all keep getting screwed. We all keep getting screwed because of all of this macro stuff that's going on. Every time the cryptocurrency market runs, these guys find a way to dump it. They find a way to dump it, and that's really what it is. They're dumping the markets, and at some point, as old as this is for me, at some point it's going to get old for everybody else, and it has to. Israel's forever. Israel, what they're doing over there, they took this opportunity. I don't care what anybody says. They took this opportunity where the United States was fighting with themselves to drop bombs on 8-story buildings and kill women, children, and anybody else in the buildings. They took this opportunity. It was a perfect opportunity for them to do it, and they did it. That's disgusting. Yeah, we're relieving the stress today, Scottish. We're putting it out there, baby. Yeah, Israel needs to stop. Israel needs to stop. It's absurd what's going on right now, and the fact that we're allowing it to go on, we should be ashamed of ourselves as the United States citizens. We should be ashamed. The United States government, we should be ashamed. We should be ashamed of what's going on over there, and the fact that we're allowing it to happen. Because we can go over there, we can put the pressure on. But why do we care about stocks so much? You care about stocks so much because that's what if it drives the markets. It's all connected. It's all connected. You think that crypto is going to run without the stock market running? That's not going to happen. It may run a little bit, but you'll never be the crypto market will never be in a bull run when the stock market's in the bear market. It never happened. Fartcoin is pumping. Fartcoin is pumping like crazy. If you're not an eyewitness, you're a false witness. Oh, okay. I don't know. Some of the videos are like right there in front of your face. Yeah, you're right. Young people can't afford homes. Interest rates are too high. Everything, everything's high. So let's just print more money, right? That'll cure it all. All right. So we got the Asian markets. They closed okay. Let's go ahead. Let's look at some of these. European markets, they're trading okay over there right now. Our pre-markets are looking pretty good. We got jobs report coming out this morning right now. We're expecting an increase. We got the United States and China had a call. We don't know how it went because we didn't get a lot of information. And then you got Trump and Elon, like we talked about, fighting. Here's the big one. Circle released its IPO yesterday. Well, actually, they released they went live yesterday. Let's call it like that. They went live yesterday for trading. IPO price was actually $37. Launched at $50. Right now in the aftermarkets, it's trading at $93. Why does the stock market and crypto matter? Because of this right here. Look at this IPO sitting here at $93 right now. I mean, look at Circle sitting here at $93 right now. Like I said, the IPO was like $37 or something like that. Launched at 50, ran way up yesterday, and looks like it's getting ready to go on a nice run today. So literally by Circle not selling USDC to Ripple or to Coinbase, it actually is valued way higher than what the value price was if they would have sold it. So Circle actually made the right move, the absolute right move, by continuing with its IPO rather than selling out. This was absolutely the right move for Circle. We talked about this before on here. We looked at this. When you look at the stock price right now, that closed yesterday up 168%, right? So if you bought into this IPO, you're up 168% right now. Uncle Sam. What about the Trump coin? It took a shit, Uncle Sam. It literally took a crap yesterday. And it should have, with how they were acting. It literally should have took a crap yesterday. But yeah, so but it's Circle is actually even going to come in higher today. It looks like it's 92.99 right now. We'll see where it starts trading at today. But Circle went live yesterday, and they absolutely made the right move by continuing with this IPO, as you guys can see, because it literally blew up. It blew up yesterday. We got the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index sitting at 46 right now, definitely in neutral, where it should be after yesterday, in neutral. We're definitely in Bitcoin season, 23 out of 100 right now. Cryptocurrency market cap sitting at $3.24 trillion, which is not bad. Not bad given the dump we had yesterday. And yeah, I'm going to call it a dump. And people, oh, it ain't a dump. It's just a pullback. No, it's a dump. You looked at your wallets? You looked at your wallets? Did you look at your wallet? Was it a dump? Looked like a dump to me. Look at the ETFs right now sitting here. We had a negative 11.3 million dollars in Bitcoin in Ethereum ETFs yesterday, and a negative outflow of about $278 million in the Bitcoin ETFs. I don't know. Is that a good day? I don't know. $267 million in negative outflows in these ETFs. It won't be long before XRP's ETF sitting up here, and we're talking about that as well. You got the Bitcoin dominant sitting at 63.8, pretty high still, and Ethereum sitting at 9.2. Good part about it is Ethereum still above 9% in dominance. You want to see this thing move a little bit higher so we can get to altcoin season at some point in our lifetime. But definitely still in Bitcoin season. Bitcoin's still running this market. This market overall will perform how Bitcoin's performs. They're definitely still running this market. What else do we got to get into? Let's get in and look and see how some of these blockchains are going. BSC looking at $13.2 billion on a 24-hour trading volume. BSC is just blowing the doors off for the rest of these blockchains. I mean, it's not even close. BSC right now is the blockchain that it looks like a majority of people are trading on right now. It looks like BSC is definitely just blowing the doors off. It's not even close. Solana sitting at $2.81 billion in 24-hour trading volume. Oh man, that's almost $10 billion shorter than BSC. Ethereum sitting at 2.75, sitting at number 3, 2.75 billion right now. So Ethereum, I mean, that's good for Ethereum because it was, I mean, anytime it's above 2.5, that's good. But look at BSC. BSC is just absolutely going ape shit right now. Base sitting at 987.04 million right now. I'd like to see base around 1 million. Arbitrum coming in at number 6, and Hyperliquid coming in at Arbitrum coming in at 5, Hyperliquid coming in at 6, and Sui coming in at 7. All right, but first place isn't even close. BSC is just killing everybody right now. They're just killing everybody. Tron still in the green. Yeah, Tron is doing really well. Really well during this downturn. We don't really need to talk a lot about this news, but right here. So Binance looks like it's shutting down. I mean, not Binance, but China looks like it's shutting down all its exchange trading. Big impact on the market. I don't know why the hell they're doing that. Makes 0 sense to me. And then Ripple, $421 million of treasuries could be coming to the XRP ledger, which is a huge deal for Ripple. I think that they'll be fine. I think that XRP will move. Buying today. I think today's going to be a buying day. I think we're going to rebound. I think the market, reacted kind of how we reacted, right? So, could you blame them? So let's get over here to the 24-hour trading volume. You look at Fartcoin, it's starting to come down a little bit. It was up over 20-something% when I woke up this morning. Sitting at 105 right now, definitely up 18%. Probably one of the only winners of yesterday. Somebody asked about Trump coin sitting at $9.80 right now. Absolutely took a shitter yesterday. Down 8%, 8.5% yesterday. So down 14% on the week. So I don't know. That don't look good. But yeah, definitely up today. It looks like up today about 1%. So hopefully it can rebound. It can rebound a little bit. But yeah, it absolutely went in the tanker like everything else. I don't know. But yeah, Fartcoin's not doing too bad. Bitcoin sitting at 103.993. Looks like we'll come back up to 104. I bought me some more Bitcoin at that 101 level yesterday. I'm glad I did. Glad I bought that dip. I was going to buy that dip all the way down, baby. Ethereum sitting at $2,479. Not like to see it above that. Let's see if we can get it back above that $2,500 level today. XRP $2.15 right now. This thing got down to about 210 yesterday. 210, 209, somewhere up in there. If you bought the dip, you're looking pretty good right now. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Solana, I got hammered. Get this thing back above 150. Start to push that 160 mark. Tron still holding on to 27 cents, acting like a stable coin right now, which is good for Tron. It just lets you know that there's a lot of people over there that are holding the floor. Cardano got beat down. Yeah, we're gonna get. We're getting to that, Scottish. But yeah, Cardano got beat down yesterday. Just absolutely just hammered yesterday. Down to 65 cents. Sui sitting at $3.10 right now. All of these are good buys. Everything's a good buy right now. Chainlink got down to $12 yesterday. $12.50 somewhere up in there. $12.50, $12.60 somewhere up in there. Sitting at $13.22 right now. Bought the dip there. You're looking pretty good. XLM still down. Great price there at 26. AVAX got absolutely just beat down yesterday. Went from like $22, high 22s, almost $23 down to $19.38. That's and people don't think, oh, it's a couple dollar move. You look at that market cap. To move this market cap, right? To move this market cap right here on AVAX, sitting at $8.17 billion, to move that 3.9%, call it 4%. You know how much money had to come out of that to move that 4%, to move that market cap 4%. H bar sitting at $16 right now, 16 cents right now, 16.4. Definitely pull back. H bar hung in there a little bit better than what I thought. I thought it was gonna. I thought we were gonna come down to that 15, 14 cent level on H bar, but we just didn't make it there. Which is good. That's a good thing. Pepe sitting at 401110. Holding on to this 401 mark, which is really good for Pepe. Meme coins usually get beat up the worst during these pullbacks, but definitely Pepe hung in there pretty well. So same song and dance all the way down through here, right? I gotta go down through them all. They all pretty much suffered the same fate. When you look at the hour, though, the hour definitely looks pretty damn good. Looks like we're starting to come back a little bit. I mean, Fartcoin went on an absolute monster run yesterday, so you would expect them to pull back a little bit as people wake up this morning, down 1.6%. White Rock, you guys know how I feel about White Rock. If you're in it, you're in it. I'm not in it. I think that thing is a scam waiting to happen, but we'll see. SPX 6900 absolutely it has been performing pretty damn well lately. Took this pullback, sitting at $1.10 right now. We've been talking about this thing since 30 cents. We're gonna come over here and actually look at how SPX 6900 really looks on these charts right here. When you look at this run up for SPX 6900, it was running side by side with Pepe for a little while, and then it just absolutely decoupled itself and just absolutely took off. You look at this chart, you couldn't get a better chart than this. You really couldn't get a better chart than what's going on at SPX 6900. I hope that when we start talking about this thing at 30 cents, and me and Scottish were standing on the table, beating on the table, telling you guys that this thing was going to run, that you guys at least got yourself a small bag, because you'd be up pretty damn well right now. The other one we can look at is the ZBEC network. Everybody's talking about the ZBEC network. Everybody's talking about how this token is going to be the next XRP and everything else. I told you guys to be cautious. Here's why. You see this big run up. Here's where all your influencers were talking about it. Right up in here, right there in this big long. Look at this consolidation period. Look at that. Right, there's nothing. Not little blimp here. Nothing going on right there. Nothing, and then come back down this consolidation period. They've obviously spent a whole bunch of money on marketing, and this thing took off, right? And then, we'll talk about them guys hooking up with XRP and things like that. So this thing absolutely took off. Told you guys I had a short in on this thing because when everybody's talking about it, you've already probably hit the top. So I have a short in on this pullback. We put it in at like 5.2, so we're definitely looking good on that short. I do expect this thing to pull back at least to the 4.0 mark. Definitely looking at ZBEC network to pull back. I mean, you just got to know what you know, and you got to know when people are starting to really talk about it. People is out there in everybody's mouth that, guess what? It's gonna pull back. You got the total 3 sitting here minus Bitcoin, Ethereum sitting at $832.8 billion right now. Coming down, the RSI doesn't look too hot here. Doesn't look too healthy. You see when these two lines cross here and they start to point in that downward trajectory, it means momentum is moving to the downside. So see if we can't get this turned around a little bit today. Good day, brother, man. You leaving the conversation, Elmo? We love the conversation, man. You have a good day. But yeah, it definitely looks like this thing's starting to turn down to the downside a little bit on the total 3. So it looks hopefully we can turn this thing around. It's kind of important that total 3 starts to run, because that's where your altcoins are at, right? Bitcoin's the BTC here. 104 broke through the 104 mark. You seen that this channel right here was our absolute uptrend, and then we just started to fall out of this thing. And that's cool. But you can see that the momentum for Bitcoin is moving to the downside, right? That RSI momentum is moving to the downside. Don't let DG fudge you out your bags. No, I'm telling people buy. Today's a buying day. Today really is a buying day, I believe. You got Ethereum sitting right here. Ethereum's got a nice bull flag on it, right? You see the pole right here. You see the flag setting up right here. Definitely a nice little bull flag moving right here. And when you get a bull flag like this, like you get this momentum, you get this big move to the upside, and you just trade sideways, the next move is to the upside. This 99% of the time, this move is to the upside right here. So I do expect Ethereum to kind of break out of this thing and move to the upside after this bull flag is really starting to form. I mean, it's clear as day right there. Like, you couldn't get any clearer than what that is. And you look at, the RSI is not, looking too healthy right now, but when you look at it, this thing definitely has a potential to pop and pop big, and that's classic bull flag right there. So definitely like what we see going on. But more importantly, guys, and I'm gonna get out of here because you guys know I got payroll and stuff to do at work and stuff. But more importantly, guys, here's what you got going on, right? You had yesterday, the market traded off of the bullshit, right? Traded off of the bullshit, right? That's what we're trading on, right? So the market took a dump, right? Today, everybody woke up, clear minds, clear hearts. Market's starting to come back a little bit. So if you bought the dip yesterday, you're probably doing okay. But if you just decided to hold the nonsense, your bags are starting to recover a little bit, right? They're starting to recover. Everything's starting to come back to a normal level, and this is what you want to see after trade. I told you guys, we're not trading off of fundamentals anymore. We're trading off of tweets, and we're trading off of posts, and we're trading off of all of this. Big Watts, dude, did you hear my rant this morning, Big Watts? Did you hear my rant, Big Watts? Oh man. I hope you heard it, man, because oh man, I don't know. I had to let it out, but yeah, so now, we're really not trading off fundamentals. So, now everybody clear hearts are and clear minds woke up this morning, and it looks like the market is starting to come back a little bit, which is absolutely a great thing, right? A great thing for the market. So definitely, if you bought the dip, you're doing pretty well. If not, if you just decided to hold, the bags are looking a little bit better. So that's all a good stuff. That's all a good thing, right? So that's all a good thing. So we're good. I think we're going to be good. I think today's kind of like that buy day where you can kind of see the market start to turn a little bit. And probably the bottom is probably set, right? Maybe the bottom was set last night, and we're starting to make that turn back around. So let's hope for today that's what happens. But man, I hope, I don't know who got involved with the Circle IPO, but I did. And if you did, you made some money. Like I told you guys, I was going to go ahead and buy this IPO, bought that IPO, and that thing is absolutely moving, man. And Circle probably will be one of these companies that we're talking about as one of these top tier companies here in a little while, just because of what it brings to the table. So, by them guys going public, it's a good move for them, obviously. So, with that, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna get out of here. We're gonna get out of here for a Friday, and do our thing for the weekend. And what do you say, Big Watch? Did you see? Yeah, I seen that, man. I seen that, man. That's what we were talking about. That's what we were talking about earlier, Big Watch, man. I was like, it's getting to be too much, man. It's getting to be too much, and they're tanking the markets, man. So yeah, we go back. We went through on a whole rant on that, man. But yeah, so here we are, Friday. So, pay attention to the markets on Friday. Pay attention to what's going on. You guys know we usually have that Friday afternoon pullback. Later, thanks. No, later, thank you, Michael. We usually have that Friday afternoon pullback as well. So, be cautious of that. But I think, we're setting up for a pretty good day today. I think, barring any more of this childish crap that's going on, I think that will be okay as long as both of these guys can keep their mouths shut and just go on about their business. I think the market will be okay. But if we get into another verbal sparring match, then you'll see it. You'll see this market pull back even further. So, but other than that, let's get on out of here, guys. Guys, have a great weekend. See you guys on Monday, and we're out. Bye.